Welcome to a special edition of Whitetail Rendezvous. What's so special? Well, I've asked 6 of my friends who live out here in the Rockies and are DIY archery hunters to share tips, techniques, and resources that they use to be very successful elk and mule deer hunters. One thing you got to remember, April 4th, 2017 is the closing of applications for applying for limited elk and mule deer. All the mule deer tags in Colorado are by draw only. Now, there's many areas in Colorado where you can apply for an elk, or you can choose to take an over-the-counter tag. As you might imagine, there's fewer hunters in the limited draw areas, but you still can get a tag, and we have hundreds of thousands of acres of Forest Service land, so you can pick the place you want to hunt. Talking about picking a place, there's no better research tool than GoHunt.com Insider. And I have Brandon Evans as a guest on the show, and he's going to lead off telling you why GoHunt.com is the place to go, why Insider will give you all the information that you need to know about hunting Colorado. Why? Because I wrote many of the big game unit profiles. What does that mean? You're going to find at GoHunt.com how many preference points it takes. What's the class of trophy that's in there? Is it a 260 bull, a 300 bull, or a 350 bull? As you might imagine, a 350 bull, if it's in a limited draw area, it's going to take a heck of a lot of preference points. It might take years, but they'll still give you the opportunity to use their resource tools to find a place that has 265 bulls, Pope and Young bulls, and you can get an over-the-counter tag. So Brandon Evans from GoHunt.com Insider is going to share how, why, when, and where you can be a successful DIY hunter in the state of Colorado for elk and mule deer. Oh, one thing I want you all to remember, you need to listen to the whole show to get the promo code. What's the promo code going to do? When you sign up to be a member of GoHunt.com Insider, you will be given a Sportsman Warehouse gift card. How much is that gift card? Well, you're going to have to listen to the end of the show to get that. Hey, folks, sit back, relax, and dream about hunting elk and mule deer in the Rockies, specifically in the state of Colorado, coming up this fall. Welcome to another edition of Whitetail Roundup. This is Bruce Hutchin, and we're heading out west again. Yes, this is part of the special edition of DIY Hunting the Rockies, sponsored by GoHunt.com. And we're going to meet up with Garrett Bowen. Now, Garrett is part of Top Priority Hunting, and they're a group of high-quality hunting films and stories, but really, they're no different than you and I. They're real people in real places. Garrett, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Bruce. It's nice to have you, and thanks for having me on today.
So let's jump right into it. Top Priority Hunting, really, what is its mission, and what are you going to bring to the outdoor industry?
Our mission, we kept it kind of simple. As far as all 4 of the guys that are on, with TJ Hoffines, Justin Nelson, and Jeremy Stairs, and myself, our overall goal, in this industry that's so huge and overwhelming to most, we really want to tell the story, through our eyes and how we see it on the hunts that we go on, and just capturing, the real life moments and the struggles and the highs and the lows and the frustrations, and just producing very, very top quality films for those people, hunters and non-hunters, to both see, why we love what we do and why we're so passionate about, the outdoors, what we hunt, and each animal that we take or harvest. And that's our overall goal. And also, we are huge on including our family, wives, girlfriends, whatever it may be, kids. We really, they're the next generation, and they're the ones coming up, and we really want to give them the right picture of, what hunting is really about.
When you think of that, this show's for whitetail hunters all over North America, and the reason I'm doing the special is because the draw season's coming up, and our Colorado, where I live, it's coming up. I think it's the 4th or 6th. Anyway, you can check that at Colorado Parks and Wildlife, the exact date. But I want people to enjoy what I've lived for years and years. I've been fortunate to hunt across North America and to whitetail hunt since 1966. I know that dates me, but so what? But thinking about that, everybody spends all the money. They get their tag. In Colorado, you can get a limited access tag, or you can get over the counter for archery hunting, and that's predominantly what we're talking about here. And
right.
when you think about that, talk about the simple things that they can do to capture the memories, because you get blown away with a sunset or a sunrise, or just a majestic. There's the first bull. It's a frosty morning. Just the vapors coming out of his nose, and he's bugling in this basin. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that for me. It's iconic, and so they want to capture that. So help them understand what's the minimum they need to do to capture that picture, not only in their own mind, but they can take it home and share it with their buddies and their crew.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for me and the group of guys that I hunt with, I mean, that's why we do it, is the memories that you make. You can go out one day and see something totally different from the day before. So it's so important to us, and to be able to relive, those moments that we had, like when you were saying, if you got a bull bugling in a basin, or, and you can just see his breath rolling off. Those are moments you can't relive if you're not capturing. And for us, we're always packing cameras, and man, we have to have it out and rolling, either with pictures or video. And it's, for me, I love to take pictures, so I can relive what just happened, or go back a year and look at the past or previous hunts that I've been on. And it's so exciting when you see that, and you relive it, and that's a super important thing. I mean, that's why we all hunt, is we love what we do, and when you capture the moments, it makes it that much better.
What kind of minimum gear should they have? And I mean,
as far as gear wise, I mean, cell phones nowadays they're getting to be as good as some of the cameras that are out there. I know they take really good pictures. For us, we run the DSLR cameras, so a little higher tech, with good lenses. We run an L lens, and then we're wanting to get a wide angle lens for better landscape pictures. And but before I got on with Top Priority, I took, most of my pictures were with a cell phone that was, it had a 20 megapixel camera, which is actually almost unheard of for a phone. But just taking good pictures, of settings, sunsets, animals if you can, if you're in close enough. But just whatever attracts you to being outdoors and hunting, and whatever gets you going individually, of what draws you to be out there, capture those moments. Those are what you want to relive a year or 2 years or in 10 years when you're not on that hunt. So it really gets us fired up, and you want to go back once you relive those moments.
And thanks for sharing that. And, I started off with a waterproof Canon, just a pocket camera with a zoom lens, and that traveled all over the continent with me. And, I just think back to the times, but on my recent sheep hunt, I still had that camera with me, but I took the majority of my phone with my iPhone, and I don't know the pixels, but, I'll send you some photos that I took, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's sometimes phone pictures blow me away to this day, and you would swear it's like from a photographer that took the picture, and it's as simple as an iPhone or an Android phone. It's amazing.
Let's talk 1 second about setting up your the film or the picture, because you just don't take a picture. You really there's the rule of thirds and
right.
such techniques, but just simply help the listeners understand what the picture is. I'm not talking about grips and grins. Everybody knows, don't have the tongue out, clean up the blood, and get the background. And it's about the whole picture, because pictures tell the story and our words just confirm what they're seeing.
Right. That's absolutely correct. And, everyone's different on their grips and grin photos. So that's a whole nother topic. But as far as, say, for instance, landscape stuff, if you have, a ridge line and you got an awesome sunset, or the sun's going down, coming up, you want to make sure, and this is the biggest thing, your lighting is what makes your picture, and make sure it is in focus. So whatever you're running, and actually a DSLR, any kind of Canon, Sony, anything like that. Just the simplest things as far as being in focus and having correct lighting is going to set that picture. And then as far as setting it up, sunsets and stuff are pretty easy, because you kind of want to capture, to put something in perspective with it. So what we do is we usually kind of half and half as far as your rule of thirds on that. We'll put like a ridge line right in the middle, and then the sunset will take up the rest of the screen. So those are probably the easiest. On other things, as far as more detailed stuff, say you're taking a picture, of an individual holding a bow or something, we really emphasize on different angles, kind of unique angles, something that is going to draw the eye to what's going on. The more creative you can get with taking pictures, the better they're going to turn out. And it definitely takes a lot of time to learn and to have the eye for it. And once you get a better feel for how to set up a picture correctly, they're going to turn out a lot better. And you can research, YouTube to this day is unreal. Get on Instagram. There's some awesome photographers out there that in the wildlife industry that take just unreal pictures.
And the word comes to me is composition. So, listeners, you want to compose your picture. You don't want to take a picture. You want to compose it. And the things that Garrett just shared, and you can spend as much money as you want. I know some birders that have more optics than I do, and we're talking substantial money. Why? Because they love taking pictures of birds all over the world, but they compose their pictures. It isn't just Arctic tern and up in the tundra. It's the whole picture. And so that's the thing that I've learned over the years is you compose a picture, and the better you compose it, the better it'll tell the story. Yeah, that's, for us being a film crew, that pictures are crucial, because that is what everybody loves to see these days. Because it's simple, it's easy, you can scroll through, you can look at thousands of pictures in a day, and we want to be able to grab your attention and just blow you away through what we're seeing out there when we're taking the picture. Say, if somebody wants to get a hold of you guys, how's the best way to do that?
We have our website, toppriorityhunting.com, and then we're also on Facebook under Top Priority, and then Instagram as well. All the same name, just Top Priority Hunting.
Okay, thanks for that. And a shout out to Whitetail Stalker, our social media partner in the whitetail industry. And remember, folks, we got good sound quality, but that isn't always the case. And so remember, it's real people in real places. Whatever that means, that's what happens here. And again, my friends at Go Hunt, Lorenzo Sartini, Chris Porter, Brandon Evans, and Brady Miller, shout out to Go Hunt for sponsoring this special segment of Whitetail Rendezvous. Now, let's talk about elk hunting or mule deer hunting, whichever way you want to go. We've got about 10 minutes left. Let's spend about 5 minutes on elk in the Rockies, and then 5 minutes on mule deer, and talking about, okay, so you get your tag, you're gonna hunt the Rockies. Now you're on the ground. How do you start hunting? How do you find, where the elk are?
So what we do, this is going to be extremely tough in 5 minutes because it's such a huge topic.
We can't do it, and I'd love to have you back, Garrett. So this is, we got to give them the 50,000-foot view, and then what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll talk about it more in depth, and we can have one show and segment.
Right.
But let's just roll what we got.
Okay. So boots are on the ground. Never been in the Rockies or anything like that. I mean, what we do personally, we get to a good ridge top, not necessarily the highest ridge you can find, but somewhere that's and we do. Before we even hit the ground, we're looking at maps, good waterways, good feeding grounds, anything that would draw an elk or a deer. Deer kind of the same way out here, but for us, we find basins that hold water and they hold good feed, because that's mainly where these elk are going to hang out. And for it being, say you're hunting in September, the elk aren't really vocal. You're going to have to get out and you're going to have to move and keep moving until you find elk. And it's typically, we find most of our elk, early before the sun's coming up. We start glassing super early and get a fix on, where elk are, kind of get them patterned, where they're going to bed. And then we'll make a game plan from there. If they are talking, it's obviously a lot easier actually, to navigate and to work into where these elk are going to be. It can be super frustrating. I mean, we've definitely had highs and lows as far as finding elk. If you're not finding elk or seeing elk, don't waste your time in one area. Don't hold yourself to one area. There's thousands and thousands of acres. Get out and move, and you have to be willing to pack up and hike and put yourself in good situations and find where these elk are going or where they're going to be.
So I get up at dark 30. I climb the ridge, and that's a chore in itself in the dark.
Yes.
I'm up there, and it's gray light, what I like to call gray light. You can see the sun's going to be coming up half an hour. I mean, it's just the horizon's lightening up, and you got to look for elk, and they're going to be in open places. So I see a herd, I see a bull, and I know where they went to bed. Now what do I do?
Okay, so are we going over kind of archery topics or rifle?
Archery. No,
archery. Okay. So what we do, if the elk are quiet, they kind of where we hunt. I'll put that in perspective. The elk are usually out till maybe 10:30, 11 at the latest, because it stays cooler in the high country. So we take it slow. We move in slow unless we got a hot bull and we can get him fired up and get him to meet us halfway or something like that. But we really pay attention as to what the herd size is, how many cows he has, how vocal he is, because that can kind of deter your setup on going in and after him. If he's super vocal and he's really pushing cows around, you can get in there and challenge him and kind of get him pissed off a little bit, and the fight will be on then, as far as you'll get him super aggressive and he'll want to come towards you to see what's going on, what's coming into his herd. And you take that and then you go to a completely quiet elk that'll bugle a few times. And those are the elk that are super challenging, as far as if they bed down in a patch of timber or something. It's almost impossible to hunt those elk for people just getting into it. But it can be done. Take your time, go super slow on quiet elk. You don't have to walk down in your socks. I mean, elk make a lot of noise. If you're around them enough, you'll understand that elk are pretty loud, since they're 1,000-pound animals, 900-pound animals, running around. They're actually, when you're calling or you're going in on a setup, make some noise, break some branches, as long as you keep the wind, in your favor. And wind is your worst enemy when elk hunting. I mean, you have to keep the wind in your favor, and definitely pay attention to your thermals, as far as when the sun's coming up. and when it goes down, write it down as far as when your thermals switch. Because if you get in there and you get within 100 yards and you're closing on these elk and the sun's coming up, those thermals are going to change. So it's super crucial in that game.
Now, you mentioned silent bulls and hot bulls, and it is easy to get in hot bulls, but sometimes the silent bulls are easy to hunt because they're not running around, they're bedded up, but you have to get in on top of them without them knowing you're there. And the reason I bring that up is because whitetails are just, they're always on springs. They're always coiled to blow out. I mean, it's just nuts. And so the whitetail hunter, I think, and I can go back to my first trips out west. Dwight Chu had a good book, and I met him at the Elk Foundation. And he said, just read my book. And I did. And I was fortunate to get up close and personal to a spike that was bedded. And I smelled him first. Mm-hmm. He wasn't talking at all. I was just, north facing slopes, cool the day. And because I was a whitetail hunter and had, done the spot and stalk or just still hunted whitetails, I was able to get on top of them. And it wasn't that much different than still hunting, a whitetail, because you sort of kind of know they're there because you're only hunting 100 acres, Yeah. You might even be only hunting a 40, but it's the same thing. So that's why I wanted to share, if they go silent, talk about calf calling or mewing, lost calf or whatever, about how to get in that silent bull, because sometimes that might be your best shot.
Yeah, and like you said about the whitetail hunters, they have a tremendous upper hand because of the patience level. As far as spot and stalk, they're so used to those whitetails, and elk you can kind of get away with. Actually, you can get away with quite a bit more than you can with a whitetail. But if you're working in on a bull and quiet or vocal, there's certain tones and certain things that he wants to hear. And being around elk more, you're going to get a better feel for what they sound like, kind of how they talk. For us, we definitely mix it up as far as what that bull, what he's doing, how he's interacting with his cows, how much the cows are talking. If the cows aren't real vocal, it kind of deters you a little bit. But if you're in the middle of September and he's checking cows, it doesn't always mean that there's a cow in, or if he's looking for cows, it's the time. So we do. We'll do some estrus cow calling if the bulls are going. We do quite a bit of calf calling, because if there's a lot of cows around, you're going to draw cows, and then usually there's at least a couple bulls, if not just one bull, with the cows, and that kind of gets the herd wound up, and that'll get that bull worked up as to what's going on. And quiet bulls, when we work in on quiet bulls, we soft cow calls, a little bit of calf calling, but mainly just keeping it real quiet and to a minimal.
What does that sound like? Can you voice call?
I can't. Not as good as I can cow call.
Yeah, but it's mewing. It's
right. Yeah, I've heard some very strange sounds from elk. The estrus call. I mean, some people think it's crazy. It kind of sounds like a chimpanzee, but when there's a cow that's in her cycle and she's ready to be bred, she makes the weirdest god awful sound you would possibly think an elk could make, and that's telling those bulls they're looking for a bull. So that can be a powerful weapon when you're after a hot bull.
One quick thing, talk about glunking when bulls glunk.
Yeah, actually, when they're glunking, it's an awesome sound. They're usually right on a cow, and they're either getting ready to breed her, if not, they already have bred her. But glunking, to me, when I've heard it and been close in on elk, it's usually been they've been right up a cow and they're following her hard, and that's like their sound of emotion, I would say, as far as when they're talking to that cow and what's going on.
It kind of sounds like this.
Yeah.
And folks, if you ever hear that, that's an elk tending a cow. Okay, a buck tending a doe. It's similar because they will do that. And whitetails are really vocal. Well, elk are exactly the same way, because elk started out east. They get herded out to the Rockies, and they get found a sanctuary in the Rockies. But elk, through the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, be reintroduced way back to when Daniel Boone was hunting them in Kentucky, and they're there now. So they're vocal because they had to be to find each other in the timber or in the wide open plains, and now in the mountains. So there's some information for you about elk, and I can't believe it, but we've already blown through our 30 minutes. So give a shout out to your crew. Let's wrap the show. I've got to have you back on, because you and I could go on for days.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
And so, give a shout out, and then we're going to wrap the show.
All right. Well, our crew consists of 4 guys. Justin Nelson being the main guy who put Top Priority together. He's our main editor. He built the website, him and his wife. And we have TJ Hoffines. He owns Dead On Archery. And Jeremy Stairs is also a team member on the crew. And everybody has certain jobs on the crew, and we kind of keep it all together. And it's definitely strenuous at times, but we love the group, and we love doing what we do as far as the filming, and love showing the audience a good show.
So, folks, if you like what Garrett said, and I sure as heck have, and I'm going to have him back on, send me an email at whitetailrendezvous@gmail.com and say, send the raves, for Top Priority Hunting, because I just love what they're doing. I love who they are, and check them out on social media. So, on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America, Garrett Bowen and Top Priority Hunting. Thank you. Pardon me. Top Priority. Yeah, I said it right. Top Priority Hunting.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a guest on Whitetail Rendezvous.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for having me on.
As promised, here's the good stuff. When you sign up for your membership at GoHunt.com Insider, you're going to get a promo code, WR 2017. Again, that promo code is WR 2017. What's that going to do? Well, that's going to enable you, when you pay for your membership, to get a $50, yes, $50 Sportsman Warehouse gift card. So here's the deal. You go to www.gohunt.com/insider and fill out all the information. When it asks for a promo code, put in WR 2017. And when you get verification of your membership in the mail, you will get from GoHunt.com a $50 Sportsman Warehouse gift card. Couldn't be any simpler. And I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to Whitetail Rendezvous DIY in the Rockies Special Edition.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.